Hello, today we're going to be talking about Alien Stage again, but unlike last time, we're going to be talking about just Ivantill, because I want to do a video on Ivantill. There's been a lot of media released since the last video I made, so I could revisit all the ships, but I'm going to start with Ivantill. So, as I said in my last video, Ivantill is one of the most nuanced and convoluted ships in Alien Stage. I think I'm using the word convoluted right. Not 100% positive, but it's a confusing ship. It's one that you look at on a surface level and you don't understand it without digging into the tech and the comics and the videos. And while people may consider it unrequited, I think a better word for it is unrecognized. You see, Till and Ivan had a close relationship. It's shown more so in comics and like little interactions and then stuff that is behind a paywall. But they did have a close relationship as kids, and then they grew apart as time went on. But moving on, I think the reason that Ivantill is so misunderstood is because of the environment they're in. And last time I talked about how we didn't have Till's point of view very much, so we can't, it's hard to understand the ship. Now we have Till's point of view, but I feel like we haven't gotten all of it yet. There is a lot that Till's point of view has not shown us yet. It's shown us some things, we'll talk about it later, but there's a lot that we didn't really uncover in his point of view. You see, the Alien Stage characters don't understand what family is, let alone romantic love. They were never taught familial love or romantic love as a concept. Both Till and Ivan have different views of the feeling of affection based on how they grew up and how they were treated as children and as they were treated growing up. Till was shown love by Io. He didn't know the words for it per se, but he knew love as a concept. He understood someone caring for him in a way that Ivan never really got to have. Ivan, on the other hand, grew up as an orphan. He wasn't shown how to love, so he had to try and figure it out on his own. He sought love and affection through attention-seeking behaviors, usually more negative ones. I could make a whole video on Ivan and his mindset because it's still, he's one of the most complex characters in the show, even though that's not saying too much because all of them are really fucking complex. But his views on himself and on love as a whole are so distorted based on the environment he grew up in. He wanted Till's attention so much, and he didn't understand how to be affectionate, so he used attention-seeking behaviors, picking on him, stealing his stuff and then giving it back, calling him a loser. All these negative things he used to get Till's attention and to piss him off. They were friends, though. They were friends who never really got deep or anything, you know? They were like surface level friends. Well, not even. But they were friends, though. It's shown in the comics that they were. Thing is, they both saw the friendship differently. Ivan felt as though he didn't deserve love and couldn't fathom the idea of Till actually liking him, while Till considered him as close as family, though he didn't have the word for it at the time. They don't understand each other. That is the core concept of this ship, really, is misunderstandings. Ivan found Till interesting and hard to figure out, so he would pick at Till to get his attention, and Till would get annoyed by it, unable to understand Ivan's motives. Their relationship is full of misunderstandings, but in any other universe, like, they could have made this work. Like, in Off the Record, they are pretty implied to be canon. And in the Beach AU and in the School AU and all that stuff, like, in the other universes, Ivan Till is a presumably requited relationship. It's just in the Alien Stage universe, in the canon universe, there's so much going on, and the way that they were raised was so different. Specifically Ivan. Like, I'm gonna be honest, Ivan is the king of situationships. He is he's the final boss of situationships. And Till is a pretty well-rounded character. He's, like, not as freaky as everyone else. But he has to deal with the freakiest character being the one he's paired up with. So they needed to offset each other somehow. In round 3, we get Black Sorrow, which is Ivan's love song about Till. It shows that he kind of already knew he and Till's relationship was going to end in tragedy. Quote unquote, at the end of this story, there is only a cold spot stained with blood and empty air. In round 3, there's a meteor shower scene, which I will bring up again later, but it's where Ivan tries to escape with Till. My fanfiction actually is Till travels back in time to that night and changes events. But Till turns around and doesn't go with Ivan because he doesn't want to leave his other friends, Mizzy, Sua, mostly Mizzy. He doesn't want to leave them behind. It's also been mentioned how Ivan's love for Till became more twisted after he was rejected that night in the meteor shower. Ivan's love became tainted with pain, further complicating his relationship with Till, but he came to love that pain, quote unquote. Ivan must have felt very sad as he looked at Till's back, but that was the very first moment he decided to love despite the pain. He came to love the pain, and his inner world became even more twisted. Before we talk about round 6, the sub-songs, the comics, karma, we gotta talk about Mizzy. And Till's crush on Mizzy. So Till is shown to have a crush on Mizzy. He blushes when she's around. He has trouble speaking. He stutters. He's blah, 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 blah. The thing is, Till's crush on Mizzy was idealistic and not based on who she actually is. Till even says in the Remember Everything comic that his love for Mizzy was childish. Quote unquote, whatever childish love I had disappeared long ago. Till grew up with awful owners and was abused constantly, but he saw Mizzy's fake innocence and brightness and latched on to that, using it as a way to cope with his circumstances. Mizzy was a presence he wanted in his life, someone gentle and loving. He saw the way Mizzy and Sua were and wanted something like that. The thing is, he never got close to Mizzy, so those feelings ended up more like feelings someone would have for a celebrity crush or an idol, rather than actual love. Mizzy even asks Till why he likes her, and Till just says it's because she's pretty. Till loved the idea of Mizzy, not who Mizzy was. Actually, a lot of the male characters, a lot of the male humans in Alien Stage loved this idea of Mizzy and wanted to be with Mizzy. It's even shown in how the fandom reacts to it, but Mizzy straight up says she does not want to be with a man. And people still ship her with a man. The only thing that stopped Till Mizzy shippers was when Till said he was done with the love. So I just want to point that out. That's off topic. But anyways, Ivan wasn't like Mizzy. He wasn't shown love and didn't understand how to love. He was very aware of the circumstances he was in and their fates. As I mentioned before, Ivan began to love his pain, and thus he was more willing to be aggressive to Till because those negative feelings were at least attention. It was at least something. And Ivan didn't feel the pain. He felt like good from the pain. So unlike Mizzy, who Till could use to cope with his surroundings and his circumstances, Ivan was not like that. Ivan was a negative presence because he didn't know how to be an affectionate one, if that makes sense. Well, less of a negative presence. Ivan was like an oxymoron, where he'd do all this shitty stuff, but then he was always around Till and sticking with him, and so Till couldn't understand him. And a lot of his actions were negative, and that was all Till could base his opinion of Ivan on, is those actions. What Till didn't see, though, was the actions Ivan took when he was, like, passed out, with taking off his collar, and, like, Ivan did a lot of little things for Till. Till just never saw any of them, so he couldn't understand Ivan's motive. Till still wanted to be close to Ivan. Till still put Ivan at, like, the second to top of his friendship chart thing. I feel like he's following me around, but I can't find any evidence. And the teachers suspect me instead. I'm pissed. He's constantly doing things I don't like, and I don't understand. He's so annoying. But he's still number 2 right below Mizzy. So, even if they annoyed and confused one another, they still had a strong connection. I mean, people literally went to Till to give gifts to Ivan. Someone is handing Till a gift in this artwork. And Till replies, "What is it this time? If you're giving it to Ivan again, do it yourself." So people go to Till to get to Ivan, so obviously they were close if someone was going to go to Till to give a gift to Ivan. The person connected the two. Now let's talk about round 6. We are just getting started in this video, guys. Just getting started. Last video, I think I said I thought Ivan had planned to sacrifice himself for Till. I don't think he thought he would do that until he was in the moment, or until pretty close before the competition, but I may be wrong on that. I disagree with that now. I think that he definitely did not plan it. I think that he went in and became overwhelmed with feelings and things and then did what he did as like a, what's the word? Impulsively. I think he did what he did impulsively, not via planning, you know? And I mean, he mocked Sua for doing the same damn thing he does. And I don't think he would mock her if he knew that he was gonna do that. I mean, but he's Ivan, so we never know. Ivan thought he and Sua's situations were different, though. He thought that Till would not care if he died. We know that's not true, but Ivan thought that Till would not care, and that was different from Sua and Mizzy, because Mizzy would be, I mean, Mizzy is heartbroken when Sua dies. So, but Ivan thinks that Till wouldn't care, so he's different than Sua for sacrificing himself, you know? A slightly off-topic note, no one in Alien Stage knows what kissing is, and they don't know the connotations of it. Ivan brings that up to Till, saying that he wants to kiss him, basically. And Till rejects it, because, like, who would want to, like, slam your face into another person's face without, like, the context, without the context, you know? So it's possible that Ivan kissed Till in round 6 to make him dislike him more, as a way to upset him more, not only, like, as a way to lose the round, but as a way to upset him more so he wouldn't care, you know? The thing is, though, Till obviously cares for Ivan. We know that it's not true that he doesn't care. Specifically, the comic... Well, specifically, we're going to be talking about the Scars comic at the end of this, and oh boy, woo. Anyways, we get to Ivan's death, and I think personally Till realized Ivan's true feelings around when he died, or realized Ivan didn't hate him in the seconds that he died. Like, I think it took literally that to realize, oh, Ivan wasn't just there annoying him. Because, like, up until that point, Ivan was sending so many mixed signals. And even this is another mixed signal for Till. But I think he realized at Ivan's death, he's like, I think he realized there's, like, more to Ivan than what he's seeing. Ivan's facial expressions before death were similar to Eo's. So it reminded Till of someone who felt affectionately towards him. So he probably realized that Ivan also cared for him at that moment, even if it was laced in tragedy. Then in round 7, we get the first of Till's Ivan hallucinations, similarly to how Mizzy saw Sua in round 6. And that's all that we covered in my first video. This is all new content. In Paradise, we see more of Ivan's emotions towards Till and how deep and possessive they were. We already kind of knew about these emotions, but this song really solidifies them and how intricate they were. This song shows a darker side of Ivan's feelings for Till, saying he wants to live in Till like a parasite, and that Till could be his private paradise. Not about Ivantill per se, but this song was so beautifully done. And I just love the general vibes of the song. It really fit Ivan, and, like, the vocals were amazing. The whole song was amazing. I say this, I'm gonna say this about literally every song, but, you know, beautiful song, beautiful. Mi Vida Loca. We're gonna be talking about Mi Vida Loca much more than Paradise, because we know Ivan's emotions. Like, we had a general idea of Ivan's emotions before that song. That just solidified those thoughts. Till we don't have the same knowledge of. A few months ago, more than a few months now, past me writing the script, a new Alien Stage sub-song released. But let's start a bit earlier with the teaser. When the teaser dropped, a lot of people were like, Pink, is this another song about Mizzy? But I want to explain why. I'm 90% sure this song is not about Mizzy, and is probably more so about Ivan. As I mentioned before, people thought the pink in this preview meant it was going to be about Mizzy, but the actual album art had no pink. I think this is the creators making a red herring and then subverting expectations. They wanted to make us think the sub-song was about Mizzy, only for the song to be about Ivan. Whether it's them subverting expectations or them showing Till's mental state of him projecting Ivan onto Mizzy, I'm not sure. But either way, the song is mostly about Ivan, in my opinion. Also, I feel like we need to take into account what Vivi Meng did not do. I feel like it's not talked about when analyzing media, what people don't do. You see, media is purposeful. Everything is done with with reason. Everything is done with reason. So you could also argue that everything that was not done wasn't done for a reason. If the song was about Mizzy, why did they not have any pink in the actual album cover? It's because it's not about Mizzy. A small detail about this cover art too is in one of the comics they made, the kids are split off into two food groups, plain and sweet. Mizzy was in the plain because she was on a diet along with Sua, and Ivan was in the sweet group. And what's on the background of the cover art? Well, isn't that just sweet food, candy? Also, right before this song came out, they dropped a comic of Mizzy rejecting Till, like flat out rejecting him. If the song is about Mizzy, it's very weird timing, and this does not expand upon Till any more than we already had. Like, we have the first song, Unknown Until the End, about Mizzy. We know Till's emotions towards Mizzy. I could argue that some of the lyrics on Unknown Until the End are not about Mizzy, but anyways, we already knew from round 2 Till has a crush on Mizzy, and now we know that Mizzy rejected him, so there's nothing to add to that dynamic. If it's about Ivan, though, it does add some new stuff, obviously. You see, the intricacies of Ivantill's dynamic make it hard to understand. I already dove into this a little bit, but Ivan was constantly picking on Till. Like, he was not nice to him. Ivan was always around Till, but he never considered them friends, probably feeling like he didn't deserve to be Till's friend or that Till didn't like him. Which this whole thing obviously sent mixed signals to Till. It's theorized that Till goes to give Ivan a flower crown after seeing Mizzy give one to Sua, but then Ivan stomps on it because the flowers are cameras, thus rejecting Till, which led to the start of their tumultuous relationship. It's also shown that Ivan was around Till the most. I mean, he was interested in Till, but even in the pre-alien stage interviews, he calls his relationship with Till fine, I guess. Ivan even says he has a lot of friends, but then Till and him were just fine, I guess. He doesn't even say Till is a friend, which would obviously be fucking confusing for Till. Like, Till has a crush on Mizzy because she's hope in a hopeless world, basically. In comparison, Ivan has always been hovering around Till, but isn't nice to him. Oh, wait. Like, Till has a crush on Mizzy because she's like hope in a hopeless world. She's untouchable. Whereas Ivan is constantly around him, but isn't nice to him, so he doesn't have that same connection. I don't think Till's feelings for Mizzy were deep, though. I mean, it's already been confirmed that they aren't deep. But I wrote in this script, Till says that he likes her because she's pretty, not anything like of substance. Till does not get jealous of Acorn being around Mizzy. Ivan, on the other hand, Till seems to get jealous about, shown in both of these comics. Till seems like jealous of Ivan getting attention from other people. Before I dive into Mi Vida Loca's lyrics, I want to dive into Unknown Until the End's lyrics. Look, I know it sounds far-fetched, but I really think that song has some lyrics about Ivan. Till's feelings for Ivan subconsciously seep into the song. You see, a lot of the lyrics don't fit Till's relationship with Mizzy. Even the name of the song, Unknown Until the End, does not make sense with Mizzy because she knew. She knew Till liked her. So it's not unknown till the end. It's not even unknown ever. It also makes the line, "You will never know," make no sense either because she knows. Ivan, on the other hand, didn't know Till's feelings for him. He even says at the end of Paradise, "Unknown until the end." The lyrics about Mizzy being his light and such, the melody that filled the empty me, is you alright, they're probably about Till's crush for Mizzy, let's be honest. And what is the line, "no better options," about? You could say it's a throwaway line, you could say any of this is throwaway information, to be honest, but I feel like every lyric is purposeful, and like, the fact that it says no better options but shows Mizzy on screen, I feel like it's inferring that Till felt as though he had no better options. Mi Vida Loca has even more Ivan content, starting off with how some of the lyrics parallel Paratice's lyrics. Ivan says, "My eyes saw you struggling," and Till is saying how he struggled, saying, "I feel so pathetic whenever I stand in front of you." Ivan says, "I bare my fang for the first time," and then Till says, "Your smile that doesn't love me." Little things like that line up. And then there's the lyrics like, please understand me, don't you hate me, widen the distance between us. They make so much more sense if they're about Ivan than they would if they're about Mizzy. The lyrics imply distance, like negative distance between Till and the person he's singing about. He and Mizzy did not have that negative distance. They were distanced, Till wasn't close to her, but they didn't have that negative feeling like he and Ivan had. Even though Ivan was close, there was a distance between them mentally that Till ended up widening with the meteor shower, and specifically the line, quote-unquote, I get scared again like an idiot and widen the distance between us. That sounds exactly like the meteor shower. Plus, as I mentioned before about some other points, if the song isn't about Ivan, it doesn't add anything to his character. Like, I feel like everything in Alien Stage has added something to the character they're about, right? This song wouldn't add anything if it was about Mizzy. It also would be kind of icky because Till would be just another one of the guys who were treating Mizzy poorly and not, like, listening to her wants of being with Sua. And Till's not like that. I also googled the movie Mi Vida Loca, and supposedly it ends with a shootout where someone kills the wrong target. And, like, what if Till feels that way about round 6? What if he feels that he was the wrong target and he should have died instead of Ivan? Which isn't a far-fetched concept after reading the Scars and Remember Everything comic. But moving on to the final MV of Alien Stage, Karma is mostly about Mizzy Sua. I also have a tattoo of Mizzy Sua from Karma. But there is some Ivantill in it. And like this scene, which, while it doesn't look great optically, it's a metaphor that signifies Ivan showing Till his love and then crushing it before Till has the chance to understand it. You see in the scene, Ivan, like, shoves the heart into Till's mouth, but before Till could actually, like, understand what the fuck is happening, Ivan bites it and makes it explode. Till didn't have the chance to understand what the hell was happening before Ivan, like, destroyed it. There's also this cute scene during the explosion when everyone's falling from the sky where Till grabs Ivan's hand and they look at each other and smile. Then in the monologue, this is one of my favorite parts and one of my biggest hit tweets. There's a part where it says to love and to be loved. And when it says to be loved, it shows Ivan about to kiss Till. Now, I'm here to argue it's saying that Ivan was loved, that his love was requited. Because, like, to be loved. And then the focus, the center focus of the panel is on Ivan. So it's inferring that he was loved.
사랑하고 사랑하며.
Some people say that line is only about Mizzy Sua, but, like, if it was about Mizzy Sua, they could have put Mizzy instead of Ivan. But it was also about Ivan and Ivantill. At the end of Karma, we see Till alive about, like, 8 or so years later, I think. But we don't see anything about Ivan yet. Scars. On July 11th, 2025, we finally got Till's point of view. I need to put music behind that. In the Scars comic, we first see Till's reaction to Ivan dying, him presumably being dragged away from Ivan's dead body by the aliens. We also get one panel of Till remembering the meteor shower. We then cut to Till waking up after the explosion in Karma, and when he opens his eyes, he sees a hallucination of Ivan. I shouldn't have to say this, but just in case, I want to clarify. The hallucination is not Ivan. The hallucination is from Till's mind. It is not a ghost of Ivan. It's not Ivan's presence at all. It is Till's guilty conscience personified. Let Ivan live. Let him rest in peace, okay? Leave him alone. He didn't do any of the bad stuff that the hallucination did. That's all Till's head. We find out Till is mute and that every time he goes to speak, hallucination Ivan cuts him off. This was first shown in the comic before the Scars comic, where it ends with Till using a notepad to talk. Also, I want y'all to keep in mind, this is all in Till's mind, okay? I'm gonna say that again. This is Till's mind, which makes it kind of hilarious how there's a part with Ivan where Ivan kisses Till, and then Ivan goes, should we keep going? And then also, hallucination Ivan is running his hands all over Till's skin underneath his shirt. Like, this is Till's mind doing this. This is not Ivan being a creep or anything. This is Till. And in the same scene, we get this part where Ivan tells Till he called for him. And he has something to tell Ivan, supposedly. And we, like, don't get a payoff for this. In my opinion, we don't get a payoff for this yet. I think we're still waiting for that payoff, because we'll talk about the Remember Everything comic, but in the Scars comic, it says he has something to tell Ivan. Nothing in the Remember Everything comic really is like a confession or like admitting something. We also find out that Till drew Ivan as a kid, which was foreshadowed in this sheet of paper where he doodled over the lyrics of one of the songs. But yeah, this eye matches Ivan's eye that Till drew in Scars comic. So we know that Till drew Ivan. Not to mention in the Scars comic, there's a line, quote unquote, "I was getting used to what felt like a parasite." And Ivan, in his song Paradise, says, "My wish to live in you like a parasite." The most recent comic was posted on September 18th. It's not even September 18th yet. Was posted on July 18th, 2025. A continuation of the Scars comic, we first see Till learning to ride a motorcycle and doing day-to-day rebellion things. Then it cuts to Till getting shot in the ear before we see more of Till talking to hallucination Ivan. He goes on to say Ivan never asked how he was, and how it was the first time Till ever complained. Their relationship had always been rocky and lacking communication, so Till's anger here is obviously understandable. Till then talks about some of the stuff that he's done since Ivan passed away, like learning to draw better and riding a motorcycle, and then we see him break down into tears. This is like this depiction of grief really hits home for me, because one of the biggest things with my personal grief is not being able to tell the person the things that are going on in your life. Like, it's those little things, like not being able to talk to them about your life, that are really, they destroy you. So Till talking about his day, like, to nothing, because Ivan's not actually there. It's a good depiction of grief. Not to mention the part where Till realizes that he's older than Ivan. This cuts to a scene where Till and Ivan are children, and it's showing Ivan having presumably stole Till's pencil, only to give it back to him to get attention. We also see scars on the sides of Ivan's mouth from his smile training. Ivan basically, because he didn't smile right or something, they had to like fold his mouth open to smile, so that he learned to smile or something. So yeah, he had scars from that. Till asks himself, how did I not know? And says that they all were lonely, but they didn't have the word for family back then, and saying how he felt would be easier if he could use that word. And before anyone says it, calling someone family does not mean it's like a brotherly or familial bond, like that type of familial bond. Because even with marriage, you become family with your partner. Lovers do end up being family. A lot of people saw the line like, oh, family, we were family, and then took it as like, oh, Ivantill brothers owned. But no, like, my grandparents were considered family, and they were obviously a couple. There's also a concept when it comes to like sworn brothers where in certain religions there's like the emperor, the family, and then the friends. So when someone makes the person their sworn brother, or when they call them family, it's elevating them from the level of friend up to the highest thing they can have, relationship they can have, except for the emperor. I'll put a video where someone explains this better than I can. So then Ivan says, are you pitying me right now? Is that why you're crying? I'm not the pitiful one. And then Till hugs him and says, I didn't know either. I never knew you were so scared. So Till acknowledges Ivan's feelings from back then that he never could understand at the time. And he probably still doesn't fully understand them. But he understands them better than he did before. And then after that night, Till never saw the hallucination Ivan again. He says that it would come back if he was under like stress. And then he decides to go find Mizzy, go find his other family, because Mizzy's love for Sua, or her grief for Sua, Till could relate to with his grief for Ivan. That's how you can read it. Saying that his love for her was childish, but mentioning how they shared something in common, which would be their love for Sua and Ivan. It subtly compares Mizzy, Sua, and Ivantill, which I think says a lot about Ivantill as a ship. Till is just saying there that he wants to hang out with Mizzy and talk about their grief and the things that they've lost. It's like meeting up with a friend who knew someone that passed away that you knew. It's like that similarity of like knowing them. Like Till can talk to people on the rebel base about Ivan or Sua or Mizzy or whatever, but no one's going to understand them in the same way Mizzy does, you know? And I want to add this little tidbit in the end because I just found this out today. I guess Ivantill were supposed to be written similarly to Mizzy Sua, but they didn't want Ivantill to overshadow Mizzy Sua, so they made it more one-sided. And like they didn't go with how dark they considered making it. I just think it's interesting. And I didn't have a way to end this video. I wrote up till the Scars comic and then I forgot to finish the script. So with that, Ivantill. I have nothing else to say. Ship Ivantill, read my fan fiction. I even have an Ivantill tattoo. So, okay. Comment, like, subscribe. Goodbye.